Hello there, Aries. Welcome to a tarot card reading, a Linny D tarot card reading. This is going to be a random and timeless reading because, quite frankly, I already put up this month and your next month's reading in Life and Love, looking at every single week of each month on my TikTok. So for YouTube, I figured we'd just let the cards be laid out as they may. With that being said, what I'm using is a tarot deck called the Animal Oriens Tarot Deck. This is based off of the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. And as far as I can see here, we have two kings showing up in the reading. And if you know anything about how my style of reading goes, I like to do things based on the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, a historical look at tarot. And when you have two kings together, both of them in the upright position, it refers to projects. So Aries, we are going to be talking about how you are looking to come together and organize some kind of project that you're dealing with. Now, at this point in time, what you'll find with the Hanged Man card in the reversal is that you have a new perspective showing up with the project that you're dealing with. For some of you, the project that you're dealing with is your career or a goal that you have with travel, maybe a project around the house like construction avenues that you might be dealing with, maybe your education, your citizenship. Each one of you I know is going to be dealing with your own certain projects. Some of you are trying to build the back room of your house. And in that goal or that project that you have had, you may have felt like things were suspended because the Hanged Man position if it was in the regular upright position, it would talk about things being suspended or delayed, haven't necessarily had the full understanding of how to go forward in this project. This is why I really like that the Hanged Man is in the reversal for you, because it insinuates that you have a new perspective on whatever project you're dealing with. Now, this suspension or delay could have very well had you in your feelings a lot, because the Five of Cups is here as you focus on something that is spilled over. This may not have been the first time that you have attempted to give this particular project a go. It may not be the first time that if your project maybe is handing out resumes or trying to tackle a certain trip or making your way to whatever, a family member's house. Again, the Five of Cups insinuates that there has been a loss for some reason. This loss could be in the project itself, but there could have been a loss that occurred outside of what it is that you're trying to get accomplished. And the loss was so great that it had you focusing on what was lost. Sometimes even things like love and relationships or family members, you go through situations of loss with these kind of people as an example, and your focus becomes that topic, and it causes your projects to be put in a standstill. Again, put in delay or put in suspension. Sometimes other areas of our life, they just kind of swoop in and interfere with what projects we're trying to do. But if it's not related, again, to the loss of something outside of you, like a family member or some kind of external situation or a love life situation that you felt a loss in, then it could be the actual situation of the project itself. You experienced a letdown. As an example, trying to accomplish a certain course like education or skill set, and then you just didn't see it through, or maybe there was a lack of passing. Sometimes people don't pass a certain course, and so you focus on the loss and everything gets put in that state of suspension. Again, though, as much as I'm describing this, the Hanged Man in the reversal insinuates that things are coming out of suspension. You get to go forward on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And the Five of Cups card, I know the Animal Oriens deck here looks like crickets that are on the cards, but in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it is a depiction of a man who's looking at these spilled glasses or spilled cups, and behind him is the secondary opportunity. Two other cups that he has right at his feet. If only he just looked to the side or looked behind him, he would see that there actually is more of an opportunity to gaining the success in these particular projects. Now, uniquely, the last card here, the Page of Cups, there may be room for somebody or some way that you're going to gain some kind of information. It could come from outside of you, like somebody comes to give you information, like a teacher or a boss or somebody, again, who sends you some kind of a message, and that message becomes applicable to your project. You can take whatever news or information comes in and apply it to the situation to make the situation better. But the Page of Cups is also a card of contemplation. Again, on this deck, it is a cup, but in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it is the concept of a man who is staring at a fish that is inside of a cup. He's contemplating what he can do. So the information that you might get to render the success of this project that you're trying to do may very well come from inside of you instead of an outside source of information. But information and messages is the name of the game when it comes to the Page of Cups. Uniquely, pages, if you think about them from a historical perspective, in the Middle Ages, 1,000 years ago, a king, when he wanted to send a messenger, he would send one of two people usually, the pages or the knights. A lot of the times, though, it was the pages who were, they are like the modern day gophers. If you've ever had a job and someone goes for a cup of coffee for you, if you're the boss, or somebody goes, they call them a gopher, right? They go to get that paperwork. That's what the pages of the Page of Cups, especially, but the pages in general, they were the gophers. So they are dealing with gathering information, sending information, and this one in particular, unlike the Page of Swords, who focuses on gathering information, the Page of Cups focuses on sending information, especially one that somebody contemplated first and then sends outwards. Like you contemplating and then sending to other people, or someone else was contemplating how to help the situation and they send the information to you. Now, I'm going to shuffle a little bit more here with you guys. And I just want to mention while I'm shuffling this, that I do, again, have some other readings already up and available for you on TikTok. Those are free for people who are followers and not followers. You don't even have to follow my TikTok for you to get some of the access to the videos. But I do have a subscriber membership on my TikTok, and I do have Patreon that I have just set up in the last few weeks, in like the last 2 weeks. I've not really mentioned much about it here on my YouTube, but I thought that I would mention that if you're interested in unlocking any of the extra videos or any of my research videos on mythology, history, Gnosticism, things like that, you can head over to my Patreon, but also to my TikTok. Okay, as for the extra cards here, we now have another page that has just shown up. The Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. And from that historical perspective of reading tarot, when you have more than one, especially suit but also court card, it has its own particular meaning. And when you have two pages in the upright position, it talks about disquiet. What disquiet refers to is, well, two things are coming to mind. One of them is the original intention of disquiet. Is like when things are, you can't focus, they're so noisy in your mind, right? That's one avenue of disquiet. Another avenue that's coming to mind here is the kind of disquiet that happens when you're dealing with other people and the friction between those other people is causing you a sentiment of disquiet in your life. People can actually be noisy, constantly coming in and out of your life, or the frustrations and frictions between you and this other person are causing your mind to overthink things. The two reasons why I think of that is because, one, Arthur Edward Waite, of course, spoke about disquiet himself, but you do have the King of Pentacles here. And the King of Pentacles can be a person in a position of authority that you're dealing with, or someone in a hierarchy above you, like your parents, your bosses, your teachers, somebody who could be in an elevated status. And I think of that because remember how I said the kings often send messages with the pages. So some of your projects, whoever it is out there that sees this reading, with whatever projects that you're doing, you could be waiting on information from that particular person in a position of authority. And because there's this energy of disquiet, you may be concerned about what information comes from that particular person. I do think it's going to be good though, because again, the Hanged Man position is in the reversal, which means the information that you get from this person gets you unstuck from the situation. I also really like that the Three of Wands just came out, because this is a card of transaction. This is the card of the little bureaucrat. So this talks about projects that could be happening with Again, people in positions of power or authority, also representation, like representatives, like bureaucratic representatives. One thing that comes to mind is when you build something, you have to get approval from your local committee, as an example, or a person who's giving you the paperwork, the contracts, the whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? There might be some circumstance involved where you have to be approved, like a permit, especially with the King of Pentacles here, because the King of Pentacles, or Pentacles in general, and combined with the Three of Wands, can talk about things that you build in the house or in your lifestyle and the transactions required to do so. That's, again, it's got that bureaucracy element. You have to follow the rules within legislation, or rules within a project, or rules within your airline, or rules within your HOA, right? Now, Three of Wands, again, this is also not just bureaucratic, but it's trade related. So it could be the rules inside of an enterprise, a home business, a business in general, that you have to fall in line with, and you're waiting on the information from a particular person so that you can move forward. Right now, this is at the center of the reading, being stuck in that delay, being stuck in that suspension, but it is moving forward because it is in the reversal. Now, the last thing that I find interesting here is the Seven of Swords is here. I'm actually going to pull another card for this, because the Seven of Swords, it can talk about quickly having to move and change directions, and it can also talk about courage that needs to be built up so that you can take your own self out of this delay. And I kind of want to navigate for a moment which one it is. Okay, I think, because again, this could be courage or changing things up very quickly, like I said, but it feels like it might be because of how there was a loss previously to the situation. It might be like you're almost anticipating needing to change things up. You might be kind of bracing for impact with whatever information or news is going to come. Like, you might know that a person might give you some news that's less than desirable that might cause you to change things up. The Strength card is here. Let's get one more. The Strength card, again, it's about courage. So, okay, that's what I said. I wanted to know if this was about courage, and then the Strength card comes up, so it is about courage. And it is in the upright position, so you are going to maintain the courage. Wow, that's a really interesting card to get in here. We have the Queen and the King of Pentacles showing up, but the Queen of Pentacles in the reversal is this is really neat. But she's somebody who is a difficult. She's actually, according to Arthur Edward Waite, over 100 years ago, she's downright evil. Now, this is like, think of it as a spectrum. Some people can be annoying, some people can be downright evil. So why this Queen of Pentacles is showing up is variable for each one of you Aries out there. Some of you, the loss that you've dealt with, it is a person in a position of authority who caused the loss, but it's somebody that you know was doing something that should not have been done. It could have been malicious, it could have been mischievous, it could have been annoying, it could have been downright evil, whatever they did. So it's no wonder you're bracing for impact. Also, that could, like this Seven of Swords, when I was asking about whether it was something requiring courage, but on the other hand, the Seven of Swords is about changing direction up very quickly sometimes. I think this might be connected to why you had a loss in the past. The loss in the past could have been because somebody caused a quick shift to happen. Like, they did something that was plumb evil or malicious, or just, disrespectful, not kosher. Whatever they did, it was just the wrong thing to do, and you might have had to take the brunt for it. And so you're bracing for impact on that. Okay, I'm going to shuffle these all back in here, and I'm going to ask one more thing, and then I'm going to leave you off with this reading. I want to know about the success of the project. You have information coming in, but I want to know, is that information going to lead to the success of the project? The reason I say that is because that Seven of Swords, it can be about projects that fail. Seven of Wands is here. No, you do have success in it. Wicked. All right, Seven of Wands on this particular card. Oh, that's the second seven. I just realized that. On this particular card in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, instead of this little what do you call them? Not amoeba. It's there's a name for it. It's a microscopic insect. It's off the tip of my tongue right now. I think the nickname for it is the bear. Usually, instead of the depiction of this little microscopic creature, on the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the character of the Seven of Wands is an actual person who's so large that they have the ability to defeat all their rivals. There's a whole bunch of sticks that are hitting at the individual, and this individual, in his huge size, is able to take all of the difficulties and smack all those sticks away. And so this specifically is a card of success in overcoming your obstacles. With that energy of the Queen of Pentacles, or whatever losses or difficulties came up, whoever it is that's making the rules and the limitations for your project, you're able to circumnavigate those situations and overcome them, which is really great. I really love that. And specifically, I'll just say, most people don't know that when you have 2 sevens and both of them are in the upright position, that is news. It's specifically about news and information that comes your way, which we already saw in this reading once over. So it is through that news and information that you gather, that is the news that's going to allow you to overcome the situation. And that's what I was just asking about. I'm like, okay, we know that you're getting news. Are you going to win? Are you going to have a successful outcome? The answer is yes for both of them. Yes, you have news, and that news specifically is going to help you overcome the obstacle and complete your project or your goal. That's lovely, guys. All right, I'm going to leave you off with that. If you're interested in a private reading, do remember that I have any 2 questions for $20. You can always click the link at the top of my bio, or if you want any of the extra videos, head over to my TikTok, consider becoming a member, or you can grab some of the free readings that are over there on TikTok. I will leave you off with that. Many blessings to you guys, and ciao for now.